Thank you very much. I would like to play a video that means a lot to me, and then I'll continue.
Today, I woke up in a place that said to me, be free.
I woke up in a place that said, be what you want to be. I woke up to a dream. And I realized that I'm stronger than I was yesterday. I woke up in a place where it's the size of your heart that counts, not your fists. Because yesterday, I was digging for gold. And today, I'm wearing it. Yesterday, I was burning with frustration. Today, I'm growing big business.
I woke up and realized that I don't need a gun to make you listen.
And even if I have nothing, this place can give me everything.
All I need do is believe.
Today, I woke up in a place whose cheering can be heard on the other side of the world. A place where my brother is my brother, no matter what. Today, I woke up in a place that flows with courage, that laughs, that's cried, that says, it's okay.
Today, I woke up in a place that sings with hope to the rest of the world.
And I smiled because South Africans are creating a new dawn every day.
The day I woke up in South Africa.
Thank you. Alive with possibility. Alive with possibility. I really love this advert. It stands for everything that I believe in. I think that this conference is alive with possibility for everyone in this room. Please give it up to Joe, Charles, and the team for organizing such a possibility for us and our businesses. Thank you. One of my favorite lines in this advert is this one. Even if I have nothing, this place can give me everything. I hope that this conference will give you everything you need to better your business and also an opportunity to learn from others. This is my first visit to the United States, but I've been here in many forms before. It is a special visit because Indiana is a state where my childhood icon was born. His name is Michael Jackson. Everyone who knows me well know how much I admire Michael Jackson as an artist and an entertainer. I will not be doing any moonwalking though. Today, I'm going to talk about three things. I'm going to talk about being a practical learner. I'm going to talk about being able to talk to strangers. And I'm going to talk about what I discovered in building GauRider. Who am I? I'm the guy who woke up in South Africa. My name is Soyizwapi. I'm a graphic designer by profession, and I'm also a self-taught iOS developer based in Johannesburg. I was born in the Eastern Cape province of South Africa, in a small town called Butterworth. Nelson Mandela was born in Umtata, about 100 kilometers from Butterworth. During the apartheid years, this part of the Eastern Cape province was called the Transkei. Transkei was one of the 10 homelands that were created by the South African apartheid government. These homelands were divided into specific ethnic groups. As you can see, they were dividing us. These homelands were a way to exclude black people from the South African economic and political system. Butterworth was an industrial town. It was the second biggest town in the Transkei after the capital city, Umtata. My dad worked as a computer operator in a manufacturing line at the local factory. My mother was a geography teacher at a nearby rural school. In 1983, my dad used an Apple II at the factory he was working at. Whenever he talked to me about computers, he always talked about the Apple computer. Butterworth was the fastest growing town in the Transkei. Due to factories, a lot of people moved to Butterworth to seek job opportunities. During the 80s, there were riots in some of the biggest cities in South Africa. Some families relocated to Butterworth to secure education for their children. Everyone was busy. During working hours, parents were at work, and their children were at school. There were also extramural activities like soccer, ballroom dancing, karate, athletics, boxing, and basketball. At different stages of my life, I participated in all these activities. Taking part in all these activities gave me different experiences. It exposed me to some of the hardest working and talented people within my community and beyond. My neighbors had varied interests. Some were artists, some played sports, some were straight A students, and some were great makers of things. This diversity in interest taught me at an early age that people excelled in their chosen domains when they work hard on things they care about. Being a practical learner, I love to read. I wish I could advise more people to read. There's a whole new world in books. If you can't afford to travel, you can travel mentally through reading. You can see anything and go any place you want to in reading. Michael Jackson. Everything I cared about, I learned further about it from the Butterworth Public Library. I learned about computers and graphic design as a career from the library. Having observed the kind of books I picked up from the library, one day my mother brought me a book called Computers in Today's World. I still have this book. This book changed my life. It had code snippets from BASIC. I used to write these code snippets by hand and create my own Trivial Pursuit games. The first time I used a computer was in my first year at university. It was during a computer literacy course. We're being taught spreadsheets, DOS, and word processing. I've always been interested in spreadsheets because I wanted to create beautiful charts and graphs. This love for beautiful charts and graphs comes from being able to read maps at an early age. Since my mother was a geography teacher, there are a lot of maps at home. I loved political maps, economic maps, demographic maps, topographic maps, and weather maps. These maps gave me intelligence about other cities and about other countries. But The examples we were given during the computer course were not exciting to me. Some of them I couldn't relate to. So I decided to create my own excitement by using my own data. I took all my results from all my courses. I created beautiful charts and graphs to visualize my own data. By applying formulas, I calculated my average compared to the rest of the group. This is how I discovered for the first time that I was the only student who failed drawing in my first quarter. Since then, I've always learned things that I can apply and to make relationships in unrelated fields. Being able to talk to strangers. In 1999, I was invited to study for a fourth year in graphic design. It was focused in 3D computer animation. I had to write a paper about the effectiveness of 3D computer animation in advertising. And I had to create a short animation to support my argument. We were using silicon graphics machines, the O2s. They were running Maya version 1. Apart from the thick Maya manuals, there were few resources on the internet about 3D computer animation. There was a guy who was based in Johannesburg who worked on special effects for films and TV commercials. I emailed him. I told him about my project. I asked him if I could visit their production company in Johannesburg during holidays as an intern. He gladly accepted, and he was surprised that we're using Maya in a smaller city like Port Elizabeth. I also emailed another studio based in New York and one based in Phoenix, Arizona, to send me their showreels. To my surprise, they gladly shipped them to me. With this new network, I used to send them my short animation clips so that they could critique them. This is how I learned to talk to strangers from afar and to make friends in other parts of the world. This is how I was later able to teach myself how to code by downloading free online courses from MIT, Stanford University, and Carnegie Mellon University. Building GauRider. After teaching myself how to code, I wanted to create a product that would be used in the real world. Since I use the Gautrain every day, I wanted to create a Gautrain application. Gautrain is a mass rapid transit system that connects Johannesburg, Pretoria, and Tambo International Airport. This system is the first of its kind in South Africa. It has been in operation since 2011. The Gautrain project costed just over $3.6 billion. The Gautrain runs on time about 98% of the time, which is a great user experience. Before I released GauRider, there were 3 Gautrain applications at the App Store. The first one was the official Gautrain app released in 2011. This was a free app. The second one was released by an independent a year later. This was a paid app at 99 cents. The third one was also released by an independent. This was released in 2013. It was also a free app, but this app was a better designed app out of the 3. In my eyes, all these apps were successful in their own way. I had to define my own way of success. I asked myself if it was viable to create another Gautrain app, even though there were 3 alternatives. Well, I decided to do it anyway. I decided that I was going to create a paid app. A paid app that was going to be sold at a higher price than the rest of the existing apps. I looked at my positioning. I decided to come up with something that would be greater compared to the rest of the existing apps. I wanted to create a product that people would value and they would get their money's worth with. I asked myself 3 questions. How will I be different from other apps? Go back. How will I be different from other apps? How will I market my app? And how will I define success? The first question. How will I define success? How will I be different from other apps? When I built GauRider, I looked at different navigation systems. I find out that all these apps looked the same. There was no differentiation. I focused on user experience. My focus was to simplify the user interface. I decided to create a drag and drop functionality for the application, whereby a user would just drag where they are from and would drop to where they are going to. GauRider created a lot of new features for the application. It was the first Gautrain app to work entirely offline. It was the first Gautrain app to include the bus schedule. It was the first app to be universal. At the time, one of the biggest banks in South Africa was giving away a free iPad if a customer opened a new account or they switched to their bank. A lot of people started owning iPads this way. I figured out that even though some of the commuters owned iPads, I figured that even though some of the people who owned Android phones, some of them also owned iPads. About 62% of my sales came from iPad in my first year. How will I market my app? There are many important things in marketing, but everything we do in our apps is marketing. I looked at 3 things: the promo video, the press release mailer, and word of mouth. The promo video. I shot my promo video using an iPhone 5C. I didn't have a tripod, so I placed the phone on the edge of the table and I recorded myself doing the demo on my 4S. I didn't have a voiceover artist, so I used Apple's text-to-speech feature as my voiceover. I downloaded a South African voice called Tessa. It was about 500 megabytes. This voice could pronounce the word Gauteng. Gauteng is one of the 9 provinces in South Africa. It is where Johannesburg and Pretoria are situated. Using speech synthesis was appropriate for the promo video because it sounded like the actual announcer from the Gautrain station. I exported my script sound file to iTunes, and I discovered that Tessa's voice could not pronounce the word GauRider. So I took the Gauteng sound file and I chopped it to Gau and I mixed it with Rider to create GauRider. I exported video to Vimeo in full HD. The press release mailer. This is how I discovered the power of writing. Matt talked about this yesterday. like design, it takes time to simplify ideas. After my app was approved, I had about 2 weeks to polish my marketing before the release date. I started contacting journalists about my release date. I saw the mailer as an investment. I knew that I wanted it to be impressive because I had only one chance to make an impact. If I had spent so many hours designing, developing, debugging, testing the app, I had to spend more time in marketing the app as well. I sent the mailer at about 5 a.m. on Thursday of the release date. By 7:30, I had about 4 interviews with some of the biggest tech blogs in South Africa. By 12:30, I was on the midday business show on Power FM, one of the biggest regional stations in Johannesburg. My friends, family members, clients, and colleagues played a big role in spreading the word about the mailer in their networks. The SABC, which is the South African Broadcasting Network, downloaded my video on Vimeo without my knowledge. They aired it on national television on their tech show network. They invited me the following week to be a studio guest on their show. CNBC Africa did the same a week later. GauRider became number 2 on top paid and top grossing of the iPhone travel category after 2 days. A week later, it became number 2 on top paid and top grossing of the iPad travel category. The Financial Mail rated the app at 4.5 stars out of 5. But just because you've had a great launch or a great media coverage doesn't mean that you're done. Apps do not sell themselves. I repeat, apps do not sell themselves. Jeremy just said, sell your shit. This takes me to my last point on marketing, which is word of mouth. This is Sandton. The Gautrain stops here. This area is called the richest square mile in Africa. It is where some of the biggest corporations around the world in Africa are based. It is also my popular stop on my commute to work. I've made a lot of elevator and escalator pitches at the Gautrain station. If I see someone with an iPhone or an iPad, I approach them. I ask them, do you have the Gautrain application? Of course I know. They have the official one, since it is free. They show me the official one, and I show them GauRider. I've made the app demo an art form. This will answer Dave's question. My app is always on its own screen without any other apps. I tap the app icon to open the app. I tell them that it's a drag and drop functionality app. I drag where we're from, and I drop to where we're going. They expect another step, but there is none. The app displays minutes left before departure time, trip duration, and the current train fare. All this happens from a single drag and drop. The expression on their faces after this demo is priceless. They asked the name of the app again. I just pressed the home button. And then my app icon is clear and the app name. Some ask about the bus service. I demo the bus service. And I also tell them that the app doesn't use data. It works even if you're offline or underground. They don't believe it. I just turn on flight mode. And I do the app, and I do the demo again. After this demo, most of the people buy on the spot. Some, they call their friends to view the demo. And others, they Google the app. I know that if it is in the morning and they're going to work, they're going to tell their colleagues at work about the app. If it's in the evening and they're going home, they are going to tell their spouses, family members, or friends. I've met a lot of amazing people this way. How will I define success? From the beginning, my definition of success was simple. I wanted the app to do 4 things for me. Of course, I wanted to pay for my developer membership. I wanted the app to buy me more books to learn about development. I wanted the app to buy me more tools to test with. And more importantly, I wanted the app to give me credibility in app development. This app has given me all these things and more. This has led to some of the exciting jobs in consulting. And I'm working on projects that I'm excited about. The last thing. I think some of you who are based in the States, this doesn't affect you much. But with us, it's quite a pain. Since launch, GauRider has always been priced at $3.99. GauRider was 32.99 rands in South African rands. But the rand was weaker in early 2015. The price went up to 54.99 rands. I was worried about my sales. I asked myself if people were going to buy my app if it costed more. I left it unchanged, and people continued to buy my app. Earlier this year, the rand was weak again. I had the same concerns as before. But this time, I was so worried that I even thought of dropping the price. After thinking about this for quite a while, I decided not to change it. To my surprise, GauRider became #1 for the first time on iPhone travel category in top paid and top grossing. This lesson has taught me not to panic, but to focus on marketing my app to the right target market whenever possible. Closing. Throughout the talk, I've been talking about I this, I that. But that's not entirely true. I am here today because of a community. I am here today because of a community where I grew up, the community where I studied, the community where I reside, the community where I meet strangers every day. I said when I started the talk that I've been here in many forms before. When I was building GauRider in Johannesburg, I was not alone. I was listening to podcasts. I was watching conference videos, lectures, and video tutorials. I was reading books, blogs, and tech news articles. GauRider is a possibility today because of this community. It is some of the people in this room. You might not know it, but you're part of it. One of the biggest lessons I've learned in building this application is this one. All things are one. There is a saying in the Xhosa language, my home language, that goes like this. Umuntu, ngumuntu, ngabantu. Again, umuntu, ngumuntu, ngabantu, which means a person is a person because of other people. This is where the embodiment of the word Ubuntu comes from. Not the operating system. Ubuntu, humanity, humanness. I am because you are. We are because of the people who buy our apps. They are because of the apps we create. There's no us and them. We are all one. All things are one. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. As a community, we go faster and further together, based on the products we create, to the markets we are addressing, and the people who buy them, who use them, and love them. I'm grateful to be part of this community. Thank you for your kindness, guidance, and contribution. Above all, thank you about caring about what you do. In the words of the great Nelson Mandela, it seems impossible until it is done. Thank you very much.